Approved last week, shipped out yesterday, and by this afternoon, it could be in the arms of someone you love. We begin this morning with encouraging news about the pandemic, as distribution of a third coronavirus vaccine could start today. Meanwhile, the Johnson & Johnson shot, of course, offers a much-needed additional option, but officials are warning Americans not to relax, not yet. So far, over 25 million people are fully inoculated with either the Pfizer or the Moderna vaccine. That's according to the CDC, and that sounds good, but that's still less than 8% of the country. So, Debra Alfarone is on Capitol Hill. Debra, what's the latest?
Well, the latest, Anne Marie, is those shipments of that Johnson & Johnson vaccine. They are touching down in states today. Many people will get them tomorrow as well. And all of this is happening, unfortunately, as numbers are starting to rise.
Johnson & Johnson's coronavirus vaccine could start going into the arms of Americans today.
This week, we'll distribute 3.9 million doses.
The new vaccine will help relieve some of the demand.
We're about to get a lot of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, and it's a single dose, one and done. Once you're vaccinated, you're protected.
More than 50 million Americans have already received at least one shot of the Moderna or Pfizer vaccines.
1, 2, 3. That's it.
That's it?
Some states are starting to loosen restrictions on places like schools, restaurants, and gyms.
We're starting to see a little bit of an uptick of people ready to come back, getting vaccinated, all those things.
But CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky says Americans shouldn't relax just yet.
At 70,000 cases per day, we're not in that place right now. With variants spreading, we stand to completely lose the hard-earned ground we have gained.
Here on Capitol Hill, Senate Democrats are looking to pass President Biden's $1.9 trillion relief bill before enhanced unemployment benefits expire in 2 weeks.
Comprehensive legislation that will help us crush the virus, recover our economy, and get life back to normal.
No Republicans have come out in support of the package, which they claim focuses too much on non-COVID issues.
Bonanza of partisan spending they're calling a pandemic rescue package.
The House of Representatives passed its version of the bill last week.
Target date to get that bill passed is March 14th. That is the day that 11 million Americans are going to be running out of their unemployment insurance unless this is passed by that date, Anne Marie.
So what do we know so far about the timeline? That's the target date. Any idea of whether or not that's realistic?
Well, that's a very good question, Anne Marie. I wish I had a good answer for you, but here's the thing. What we do know from all of the time that we've been covering things here in Washington is we know that if they've got a deadline and a drop-dead date, it's probably going to happen really, really close to that. So Chuck Schumer, of course, the Senate Majority Leader, says the Senate's going to look at this week, and they're going to maybe even start looking at it today or tomorrow. I'm sorry, rather tomorrow. So they could do it, but if they've got that date of March 14th, you know it's going to be up to that time. It's going to be right up to that deadline.
Yeah, they love those 11th hour negotiations. Let's get back to this vaccine, this Johnson & Johnson one. It's a single dose vaccine, and it doesn't require the same level of refrigeration that the other ones do. Do we know about its distribution and perhaps whether or not it will be going to more rural places or places where the other two are, it's just a little more challenging to get the other two there?
Yeah, absolutely. And so there's a committee that looks into how to distribute these types of vaccines, and this one does have some special considerations. It does work better for people who live in rural areas, and there's also experts are talking about having it for homeless people too, and people that wouldn't necessarily be able to keep a second appointment for a second shot, and that would include college students or maybe people who have mobility issues. So they're looking into that to try and make sure that they can get this to the people who need it most.
That makes a whole lot of sense. Debra, thank you so much.
Yep, you're welcome.